Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review for Put a Ring on It, Season 4, Episode 10, the season finale. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you're back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Y'all, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share with a friend. Hit that notification bell so that you will be updated each and every time I upload a video. Now, child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. When the episode first opens up, they are still in the session. So Catherine has tears streaming down her face and she's like, I know who I want to be with. It's Ricky. Girl, all those tears for Ricky. Ma'am. Child, I can't do nothing but deep sigh. I just really can't. You mean to tell me we waited a whole week to hear that? Child, we could have heard that last week. So they're going on no more dates. Okay, it's time to decide. Do you want to go away separately or put a ring on it? In the next scene, Zay is taking Jasmine's mom, Florence, out. When I tell you that that is Jasmine's twin, they look identical. I was like, she looks just like her mom. So they sit down. He wants to ask her a few questions. She's talking to him about how good therapy is for him and for Jasmine and how she went to therapy with her husband. And so therapy can really, work in most cases. So he was asking her how she felt if he were to ask Jasmine to marry him. Sir, you are the only one dragging your feet. Everybody else on board. You're the only one waiting around. What you mean how she would feel? She basically told Jasmine, you are the problem. Jasmine, I know you're my daughter, but you are the problem. She is ready for you to propose to that woman, honey. So she was like, well, why did you do that promise ring instead of proposing? And that's what everybody want to know. He said he just wasn't ready. It wasn't time yet. Well, just a word of advice to any man out there listening. Unless it's time, please don't pull out no ring. Okay, please keep the rings to yourself unless you want to ring around your damn eye. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But please do not pull out rings if you are not ready to propose. It just doesn't make sense. Unless you're on your way to homeroom, honey. If you're in the 10th grade or the 11th grade, then okay. But other than that, at your big grown age, please do not pull out no promise rings. So he said, he wants to get married, but he always gets cold feet. This is what he's saying in his confessional. He said, I want to get married, but I always get cold feet. But this experience has melted some of that ice. Oh, okay. Well, ice skate on down to go get her a ring so you can propose to him. In the next scene, Ricky goes to visit with Dr. Stacy for a one-on-one. So everybody's having their one-on-ones, okay? So she's asking how the process has been for him. And he said, he's been enlightened on some things. And he sees that Catherine is making great strides and she's changing. She's working on herself and things are getting better. Now, we have come to the end of the road. And I have, for the past 4 episodes, heard them say how bad of an attitude Catherine has. Ricky, do you realize the position? Not making excuses for Catherine to pop off, but do you realize this position that you have Catherine in? You show absolutely no enthusiasm. You have her living in a house full of people and she's taking care of your kids and she's babysitting your sister's children. Y'all are sharing a car. She not doing no hair. She been wearing the same wig since episode 1. I would go off as well. Okay, I would go off as well. And I'm a little bit tired of you not actually being accountable for your part in it. Everybody else has said, you know what? I came in thinking it was just them, but it's me as well. You are the only one that I have seen say, well, Catherine, she got to work on this. Catherine, she getting better. Catherine, she be fussing. I'm like, what? I just couldn't do it. So Dr. Stacy is telling him that, it's going to come out again because she used to be the same way. She used to pop off, but then she had to do the work. Listen, I'm right there with you and Catherine. I used to pop off as well. And you're right. It does take you doing work because you have to pick and choose your battles. And when you do say something, it's all in the way that you say it. So I totally understand. She wants them both to do some healing and be healthy individually and then come together. Now, mind you, Dr. Stacy is trying to give subtle hints to both Catherine and Ricky, and they ain't listening. Let's continue. So Dr. Stacy was asking him, what is his vision of marriage? He was like, this right here, I'm living it. The ups and the downs, and we just keep on fighting through it. So she goes, okay, you guys have this individually, but together things need to be better. So he was like, yeah, I hear you and whatnot. Okay, I hear everything you're saying. But it's not normal for a woman to stick beside a man when he doesn't have all of his things together. They normally want you to come already put together and already where you should be. So what I'm taking from that is that you are happy that Catherine decided to hang out with you when you ain't got much. And so for that, you're going to stick beside her. No, that has absolutely no passion behind it. And she's trying to explain to him what she's explaining, and he's not grasping the concept. Dr. Stacy, please don't tell him nothing else, honey. It's falling on deaf ears. He's basically going to propose to her because she's okay with being with him when he ain't got a lot. This man is about as passionate about Catherine as he is about his appearance. So Dr. Stacy is asking him if he feels like they have enough separately to be married. He's like, yeah, I'm serious about marriage. Catherine, I'm speaking directly to you, honey. If you know what's good for you, you would move back to Dallas and get yourself together. Y'all get yourself together separately. And if you find your way back to each other, then okay. But this right here, this ain't it. It just ain't it. And marrying for potential can often lead to frustration. Next thing you know, you trying to cut his plate off in the middle of the night. Child, shout out to Morgan, honey, over on Ready to Love, child. You're going to be trying to nash hand and sleep. No, I'm just kidding. But girl, I'm serious though. Marrying for potential is not the business. Okay, I'm child, to each his own. Moving forward. In the next scene, Catherine is now meeting with Dr. Stacy for her one-on-one. Catherine, you look cute. Catherine's so pretty. Hey, girl. So Dr. Stacy is asking where she is, and she said, she feels good. She wants to talk about her outside of the relationship, and she feels like she's been working on herself. So Dr. Stacy tells her, the thing that I would suggest to you is to not criticize in your communication with him. Affirm him and then speak your truth. And I feel like it's all in the way that you say things. So Dr. Stacy asked if they are both really ready to be married. She said, where we are now, yes. If nothing about him ever changed, I would be okay. The hair too? Oh, okay. Oh, child. Okay. I am seeing why the two of you were friends and decided to be in a relationship, because if you think that where you are now and it never moves, now I really want you to think about that. You are living in someone else's home. You are sharing a car. He doesn't seem to have any ambition. He is still doing things that you asked him not to do. And you are okay if the dial never moves. Really? Okay, so the two of y'all are just being delusional at this point, and I really don't know what else to say. Dr. Stacy was really trying to get her to see that this isn't a wise choice, but Catherine still wants it. I feel like it's a lost cause. The same thing with Ricky. She said, well, once God confirms it in my heart, I really don't want to hear from anybody else. Are you certain that it's God's voice? Because you have to be really still to hear God, because you could be just going based on what you really want and just masking it as, God said, when God ain't saying nothing about that. Now, I don't believe God would give you the go ahead with all this confusion and chaos. I really don't believe that he would. And I want you to understand this as well. God also gives us an out. So take it. In the next scene, Jasha goes to meet Joya's dad. His dad passed at 48, so her dad is great for him to talk to. And so he just wants to get a little bit of advice. And they've been married for 41 years, so they definitely would be able to give him some sound advice. So they sit down to talk. Her dad asked if he was ready to get married. He's like, well, I'm almost there. Jasha, we are at the end of the road. We do not want to hear words like almost. Well, I could be. It could be. It's either a yes or a no. Okay, a yes or a no. So her dad is giving him some very sound advice. He brings up her clock ticking. He's like, well, Joya's biological clock is ticking, and I want to know what's happening. Like, where are we on the timeline of things? So Jasha's like, listen, one step at a time, honey. Step by step, day by day. Baby, Jasha said, please, slow down, low down. He said, look, first things first, we got to get engaged. So her dad said, look, I have 14 grandkids and only one from Joya. So I just want to know what's happening. Daddy, please don't rush him into having no kids when he's not really ready for that. Jasha does not appear to want any more kids, to me, allegedly. Okay, that's what it appears like to me. And I think the proposal will buy him some time until the wedding. And then that's going to buy him some more time until the child. And then she going to look up and still be like, wait a minute. We did put a ring on it 3 years ago. Hello, time's a ticking. I'm hoping that's not the case, but I feel like his feet are stuck in the mud when it comes to having a baby. Now, I think he will push along with the proposal and whatnot, but only to buy himself some time. But I do believe that he really does love Joya. I really do. Moving forward. In the next scene, Jasmine goes to have a one-on-one with Dr. Stacy. Child, all the one-on-ones. So Jasmine sits down, and so she asks her how she's feeling. She said, I just really don't know. Like, I came in thinking that it was all Zay, but then you made me realize that it's me as well. I thought that if you had a good relationship that you really didn't argue, but I realized that arguing does exist even in good situations. So Dr. Stacy was basically just telling her that arguing is good. It's all about the way that you handle it. I don't trust no relationship that tells me we don't never argue. A, you resent each other. B, you holding back and walking on eggshells. And C, I don't want it. Okay, something ain't right. So she wants to know where Jasmine is with getting married. And she was like, I'm kind of 50-50 on it. You know, I feel like he needs to show and prove because he keeps talking about it, but he ain't doing it. So Dr. Stacy feels like she's not getting her hopes up just to get let down. And I don't blame her because nobody feels like playing with Zay. Like, you're on national TV. You're not about to play in my face on national TV. So until you say, will you marry me? Then I'm not going to get my hopes up. Moving forward. So then we see Jasmine and Zay. They're going on a date, right? So she is realizing that although she thought that he didn't listen to her, he is listening. And the process is really showing her a different perspective of her relationship. So they get to this nice setup. You know, to put a ring on and ready set up. You know how they do. Same one from a few seasons back. She really did love it though. And it was beautiful. Rose petals everywhere. A nice intimate setting with just the two of them. A little surf and turf. And she felt like it was great because it was uninterrupted. And you know, that was her biggest thing. He's always on his phone. He's always doing this. But I was just like, girl, uninterrupted. Of course it's uninterrupted. Y'all on the TV show. But anything for Jasmine. So at the dinner, she's talking to him about how what he does affects her. Listen, I'm paying attention to what they're saying and whatnot. But what I really want to know is, did he correct that friend? Okay, AKA dismiss him from his life. Because I wouldn't be able to go into no marriage with that friend. That friend would have to go. And we never circled back. So I'm just asking through this review, is the friend gone or no? Because I mean, I'm hearing y'all, but that friend got to go. So Zay is reminiscing on the process and things that he learned through it. And so Jasmine tells him before this, he played with her a lot when it came to marriage. He was like, and you never left me. She said, I mean, why would I? Because he was playing. Like, what? And he was like, people leave all the time. I am so sick of us having to suffer through and prove ourselves. How long will she hang on while I do these things that I know I shouldn't be doing? And if she shows me that she can hang on, I don't want to be hazed. I want to be loved. Okay, I want to come in and I want you to know that I am your person. I don't want to go through years of suffrage and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? Because you stuck in there, you get the consolation prize. And that's this ring. I don't like that. I don't like that for her and I don't like you saying that. I just don't like it. So they get up, they go upstairs because he told her he wanted to look at the view. So when they get there, there are like sunflowers everywhere and they're looking at the view. So they turn around, he gets down on one knee and he asks her to marry him. Listen, the joy on her face made me happy for her. I can't even say nothing negative about it. Jasmine is such a sweet spirit that you cannot help but want for her to have a happily ever after. I mean, you can't help it. Although I think that they still have things to work on, I am happy for them in the grand scheme of things. She's crying. She's like, I've never been engaged before. Oh, Zay, now I'm not playing with you. Do not mess this up. Okay, keep learning. Keep doing the work. Don't let it stop just because you don't have Dr. Stacy, honey. Get a card or a child. Ask her to do some house calls. You're going to have to pay, okay? Because this ain't a part of the show. Do whatever you have to do to keep doing the work so that y'all can be happy. But what happened with that friend? I know this is the happy occasion and whatnot, but what happened with that friend? And you know what? I also realized, because remember last episode, she was talking about the promise ring and how she would want to get engaged with it because it would honor her dad because that's what happened and all of this. It shows that he was listening because he proposed with her promise ring and he added more diamonds to it. So I thought that was really thoughtful. And I was like, okay, Zay, you listening. Moving forward. In the next scene, Ricky and Catherine go on their date Ricky got on his red turtleneck, so you know it's a special occasion. Ricky cannot be taken seriously. Oh, honey, he cannot be taken seriously, honey. Not the turtleneck. So they sit down and they make a toast to growth. Where have y'all grown? I'm not about to play with the two of you. Growth where? Anyway, this is the best thing that Catherine probably has ever gotten from Ricky, which is sad because it's courtesy of OWN. I don't like that. I don't like that for Catherine. So they start talking about Smokey. Now, I have to say this. Can we please retire that name? I don't like the fact that you gave yourself the alter ego Smokey. Let's not reduce ourselves to that name. Just say, listen, I have some things I need to work through. I can get a little bit irate at times and I could pop off. But I don't like you calling yourself Smokey. I just don't like that. So she was like, I really realized that I was being verbally abusive to him. Now, you coming to that realization is big because a lot of times people are just like, that's just who I am. If you don't like it, that's just how I am. But the fact that you realize that you were verbally abusing him, which is a form of abuse. We often talk about, people being physically abusive or emotionally abusive, but you can be verbally abusive and that can really have a heavy effect on your partner as well. And he said, seeing her get better was great. He feels like they're brand new. He's like, I feel like we're in a brand new honeymoon stage. Y'all being so unserious right now. It's given once a year we go out for Valentine's Day. That's what this date is giving me. Y'all are being very unserious right now. Y'all feel like y'all are in a brand new honeymoon phase when she just got through going out with Mr. Marcus 5 episodes in a row and he been touching all over and telling her how beautiful she is and now y'all in the honeymoon phase? Okay, I ain't got time. As they're sitting at this dinner, Ricky tells her, moving forward, we should just, and it went to a commercial. And I'm like, he ain't finna get ready to propose. Cause not moving forward, we should just, cause nobody says we should just get married. He goes, we should just hold off on the engagement. He doesn't want to propose while they're still working on things. Now, although I think that is the right choice, Catherine, you better be living back in Dallas by this reunion. Okay. And judging from the previews, you are not. Okay. You have wasted your time. And Ricky, hush. Okay. You are no longer being listened to. I'm not listening to nothing else Ricky has to say. Catherine, you deserve more. That's the last time I'm going to say that to you. You deserve more than this. Over on the other side, Joya and Jason, they go on a picnic. So they're walking around. They get to the table. They sit down. And she really wanted to do a picnic, so he made it happen. Because y'all remember earlier in the season, she was telling Lil Luther how she wanted to go on a picnic. It might have not been Lil Luther. It might have been somebody else. But she was telling one of her dates how she wanted to go on a picnic. So he's finally taking her on one. So she said, she finally is feeling seen and heard because her biggest challenge was him going out on that date with Brittany and her seeing him with Big Booty Judy. She ain't like it. She was like, that was really challenging for me. So they started talking about what they've learned. And I feel like these two have learned a lot. And I feel like there has been growth in their relationship. And he said he learned to listen to her love language and get away from his ego. And she learned that she was pointing the finger, which in essence, she was contributing to the mess as well. She said, her wanting a baby and a marriage, she feels like that was control. I mean, I don't fully agree, but if that's your truth, then that's your truth. Because for me, I don't feel like you wanting a marriage and you wanting to have a child with the man you love is control. How are you controlling him? You asked and you did not receive. So she starts to get emotional because after this process, he's been, really listening and growing. And she says she wants the ring because she wants him. She said at the end of the day, I just want him. I want the ring because I want him. I want the baby because I want him. It all leads back to me wanting Jasha. That's just the bottom line. So he starts to speak his speech about the things that they've done together and how they went to Mexico and they were traveling and whatnot. So he asked her, what song was it that we would always, how does it go? And she was like, you don't need no other body. She was singing it, right? And so then she hears this music playing. He said, what is that? So he gets up. They pan over to the Caucasian people over on the side. And they got a little boombox playing the song. She said that song always brings them back together. If they're having a miscommunication or a rift or anything is going on, they play that song and it makes it all better. So it's the small things. And I think she really meant that when she said any little thing that he does to show her that he's listening and that he appreciates her, she appreciates that. So then he finally gets down on one knee, y'all. Then he proposes. And of course, She said yes. I really love their proposal. It was simple but effective. I'm happy for Joya, but Jasha, let's not stay engaged for 4 years because you ain't slick. Okay, you ain't slick. I don't want this to be a situation where now we're engaged. So stop asking me about the wedding. We gonna have a wedding when I get this amount of money, when we buy a house, when we do this, so when we do that. So I'm hoping that everything works out. And just like I told Zay, please continue to do the work. And that was the end of the season. So, child, I don't know if they're having a 2-part reunion or a 1-part reunion, but all I know is Egypt Sherrod will be the host, and we are going to get into it next week. And I think we're going to get into it live. Yeah, let's get into it live. Or do y'all want to pre-record? I don't know. We'll figure it out as the day approaches. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.